Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. This one is me finishing off a page that I started after watching a Dina supporters video where she made little pockets in one of her journals, and I thought that would work really nicely in the Kraft journal. So this is kind of me finishing it off. I've already cut out the pocket shapes. And I decided to put little windows in the pocket fronts as well, just so I could pop some transparency in there. So that was a little bit different to what Dina did. So yeah, if you want to kind of find out how to do the pocket part, you can probably work it out actually, to be fair, from looking at this. Becoming one of Dina's supporters is not a bad way to spend $5 a month, as is becoming an art journal lover, because you get access to downloads every month and lives, 4 lives a month when all is going well. Yeah, one a week, and occasionally early access to videos on the channel too. So it's quite a lot for your content really, and there's also lots of things on the website on a special hidden page for art journal lovers that you can access once you become a member. You just need to click the join button on my homepage on YouTube. So I have added some collage tissue paper onto my background. I've grabbed a couple of tags that will work in the pockets as well, and I'm adding the same collage tissue paper to my tags as the background. And then I'm going to go in and start with some colour. So I'm starting off with turquoise. I'm just brushing that across both pages. I'm going to make the pages behind the pockets work with the pockets, so it all kind of plays together as a whole. Now I'm using this stencil from Dina with a baby wipe, and I'm just pulling some of the paint off through the stencil. This stencil's called Sideways, and it's another one of those great stencils that you can use in multiple directions, and it kind of has got that movement about it. So, you know, think about turning it round and using it sideways, or even, as it's called, or even in a diagonal way too. So I've done the same thing to the page and the tags because I kind of want them to play together. And then I'm using the same stencil, but I'm using Peacock this time, and I'm just adding a little bit of stenciling across from the top to the bottom of the page as well. And then I'm going back in and darkening it up because it's a little bit pale. And because I've got some paint left over too. And pulling it down so it touches the bottom of the page. Now I am using Blackberry and adding some stenciling to the tags. And of course I'm going to add some of the same colour to the pages. This is one of the coaster stencils. I'm just pulling some of that colour through onto the background pages as well. I've just clipped those pages and pockets together because they were really starting to get on my nerves. So then I wanted to just knock the background back a little bit, so I've created a kind of lilac-y colour. So I'll have just used the Blackberry that was left and added a bit of white to it. And I'm using the old Squoval stencil from Dina and just pulling that across the page just to calm things down a little bit and just push those dark colours away. And then I felt that the tags needed a little bit of that too. So that it's not as easy as you'd think because the tags are quite small, so they do move around under the stencil. So you have to be a little bit clever with how you hold them still. Okay, so I decided I wanted to have transparencies in the windows in the pockets, because then you'd be able to see the tags in the pockets through the transparency, and also it kind of brings another element to the page, so you've got that reflective quality of the transparency and more pattern as well. Yeah, so they're going to tuck in there like that, and I am going to be stapling my pockets together. So there isn't any white on my page at the minute, and as you know, I like to have black and white on my pages too. So I'm just painting the frame on the pockets white. These just little bits of old tracing paper that are just they were hanging about, so I just thought I'd use those to slot underneath so that I could paint them without getting the white paint everywhere. And just adding that to those pocket fronts will just make those stand out from the rest of the page, and it will also mean that I can now add some stamping, and that will be a little bit more obvious. So I'm using my dotty stamp from Funky Fossil, and just adding some spots onto my pocket frames. The same on both. When I'm doing a page like this, I like it to be cohesive. So if I've got more of something than more than one of something, that's better. I like to kind of do the same thing, unless I'm deliberately going for a very different look. Then I think it makes it just kind of all be a bit more cohesive and flow together. So now I am stapling those pockets together, and I am just going to pop a little staple in the top just to hold the transparency in place at the top, so it doesn't get in the way when you're trying to slot your tags in place. I mean, it would work perfectly fine with some glue. You could even stitch them together. But I think just for me, sometimes doing that stapling is just such a quick way. Okay, so don't freak out. I've gone across the page with white paint, and at least it's not black. So I want somewhere to do some writing, and I kind of thought that would work quite well, but I felt it was too bold. So I've grabbed a blending tool with a clean sponge on it, and I'm just pulling that paint out a little bit, toning it back. You can see how this is working. It's just pushing it away a little bit. It's not quite as in your face as it was. And just move those pockets out of the way. And then I can just keep kind of pouncing on that with my blending tool just till I'm happy with the look that I want. So now I'm doing the same to the tags. I'm just pulling some of the white through there as well. And I'm now just going to extend the white down the page, but using a Signo Uniball in white. I'm just drawing some more little circles. They kind of echo the stenciling that's been put on the page already, and they're also helping to soften the edges of the white line that I've painted across the centre of the page. So now I'm just going to write my quote across this white panel that I have painted on my journal page. Your sensitivity is your superpower. I'm quite a sensitive person. My children are sensitive too. And sometimes it can be looked on as being a negative thing. Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive. But actually, no, do you know what? It makes you a really kind, caring person. And it isn't something that you should feel you have to hide. So that is where this page came from. And my husband is also quite sensitive too. Yeah, we are all a bit that way inclined. So I was going to put some transparency figures onto my tags, and then I thought, no, do you know what? I'm just going to paint some of like Dina style funky figures on these tags. And I'm going to go for 2 on one, 1 on another. So collectively there's an odd number. But yeah, so that is like my focal point on my tags. And then decided I wanted to paint the back of the pockets black, because I just felt like they were a bit unfinished and like I hadn't really given them any thought. One thing you could do with the back of a pocket like this is you could journal on the back of it if you wanted to. It would be a great space, almost like a bit of a hidden space too. People would not necessarily think of looking at the back of a pocket to see if there's anything there, but it would be a lovely space to do a bit of journaling. Okay, so obviously that got given a really good dry once it was painted. This is starting to come together. So I've got to be a little bit careful heat drying this, because the transparencies are not heat proof, and you need to be a little bit careful when you've got heat too near to them, because they can buckle. So I'm using some of the typed ledger papers. God, I can't remember what they were called then. I'm just popping some quotes onto my tags. And then I did do a little bit of faffing with the tags, so I think I did a little bit of journaling on them using a Stabilo All pencil. I outlined the figures, I did a black border around the edge, just all sorts of little sort of tweaks to those to finish them off. And then I decided I wanted to do some more writing, so I've just done some kind of scribbly semic style writing, some journaling out more thoughts and feelings onto my page. So this was quite a fun page to create using those pages as pockets. A lovely way to kind of alter up your journal a little bit, and fun making those tags too, and making it all kind of play together as one cohesive page. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I really do hope to see you again soon.